Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy to see you guys came back and you're following up on this thing. It's a complete work in progress. This week, we are going to be getting to the back panels. We are going to be getting to the rest of the back end. Finishing up the bumper, getting it all painted, starting to paint the tub, tearing out seats this week. We are also going to be doing the tire carrier. That's a whole different story in itself, and it goes along with the theme of this thing of everything being wrong. It like goes along with the theme perfectly. So anyway, that's what we're going to be working on this week. We're also going to get to Sammy here in a couple of days. I'm not sure how soon, but it might be on this video, it might not. We got to buy some material to make a top for it and things like that. Another thing we got to do, we have an event to go to for a friend of ours this weekend, and it's for his company, SoCal Jet Boats, and we are going to the RV resort. So we have to go dig out the jet boat out of storage. So I'll take you guys along for that. You guys will enjoy that one. And maybe I'll even introduce you guys to the Blazer. So we'll see how that all pans out. But, because the Blazer is going to be on this channel here pretty soon as well. We got enough projects as it is, but when we get around to it, you guys will love it. I promise you, you guys will love it. So back on this thing, right now, we're going to be doing spare tire carriers. What I'm going to start with, I'm still waiting on the wrap, the correct color. So that's coming in the mail, should be here in a couple of days. So I'm not really too rushing on that right now. I have other stuff I got to do. So spare tire carrier, and then back the barn doors. I got to get those done. So let's get after it. Get this thing done. So you guys know I have found so many of the wrong parts on this truck. Like this, oh, we never decided that. Is this an SUV or a truck? Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, every part I find on this thing either is put together wrong, wasn't installed correctly, horrible craftsmanship, just stuff like that. And again, like I say, this tire carrier thing goes with the theme. So didn't really think about it when I got it because it looks like a stock tire carrier and it looks like the stock mounts on the back of this thing. Well, come to find out, after doing a little bit of like fit and fitment, in 1967 to 68, in that general vicinity, this is a 67, they changed the spare tire carrier from the passenger side to the driver's side. And unfortunately, the tire carrier we have is one that's meant for the driver's side. Go figure. So, I mean, I can mount it on the driver's side, but the body doesn't have the reinforcements in it. So when these tubs were designed, they actually put like a second wall, you know, something like that. So like in here, they actually put this extra bracket in here. And what that does is that supports, you know, you bolting on out here. And then down here, they've got it, let's see if I can get you in here. They've got it going through that channel right there, which that I believe is on the other side as well. But regardless, this one doesn't exist on that side. Again, I could just put one in or something like that, which I could do, but I'm really trying to keep the era correct. Like the correct parts on this. Obviously, well, I can't say correct parts. The correct look. So this thing being a 67, it should be on the passenger side. With that being said, the carrier that we have, it can very easily be modified to work. So what my intention is, the bolt holes are correct from here to here. I just have to drill another hole for this side. Not a big deal. The gauge is correct, so I know the hinges and stuff will work. The placement of everything is correct, except this is just on the wrong side. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to grind these welds off, and I'm going to cut these tubes right here. I'll take this whole section and just move it to this side. Re-weld it, and then put this plate back on, sticking out this side. The only other thing I'm going to have an issue with or a problem with is this latch. So obviously I'll have to turn the latch around, which it just bolts on, which is no big deal. But this is the factory latch for the 67. As you can see, it's supposed to bolt on flat like that. Well, this latchy is not flat. It's like that. So the only thing I can think of is I'm going to put this thing on. I'm going to use this piece. But what I'm going to end up doing is like taking this part right here and I'm just going to bend it just to get that angle out of it to match this. So pretty sure it'll work. I'm not going to mess with this until I have this whole thing done. And it's actually kind of good I'm doing this now before I put the body wrap on, the sheets on, because I can bolt it to the body right now, let it hang, and then do all the swinging and make the latch and everything before that panel ever goes on. So I'm not working around that fresh wrap, you know, not trying to drill holes through it and stuff like that. I'll have everything done beforehand. So when it comes time to put it together, it'll just go together perfect. So that being said, that's where we're at with this. I'm gonna get to cutting on this thing and hopefully we can make it work. Because to find a stock 67 tire carrier, it's not happening. And if you do find one, they're like $500 or $600. We have this one. Why not? See what happens. Alrighty guys, all the pieces are cut. So let's see if I can clean off the bench and we will get this thing put back together. Woo! I gotta get better at this. I forgot to hit record, so everything I just welded back together, y'all didn't get to... Man, I gotta start remembering to hit record. Dumbass. Ay, ay, ay. All the force. This is funny. I don't know why this is. Do it again, Phoebe. Do it again. Get him. Get him. Get him. Who is it? Who is it? Come here. Come here. Who's that? Who's that? Who is that? Really? Get him. Relax. She comes walking in and like walks over to the back of the shop and then randomly turns around and sees that and she's like, "Arr!" I didn't know I was a different person over there. Hey, come here. Oh, I know, huh? I know, huh? It's okay. It's all right. Relax. It's the same person. It's the same person. Hey, it's the same person. I know, it's the same person. Dumbass. That was funny though. She all of a sudden just started barking at the picture. All right, guys, we're still working on the spare tire carrier and stuff like that. But one of the things I always have to deal with is having somebody else come out and help me bleed brakes. It's a problem that almost everybody has because you have to have somebody else do it, or you got to buy the fancy pressurizing tool or the suction tools and stuff like that. The correct way to do it is just push on the pedal and bleed the brakes. Well, I mean, the way I was taught the correct way to do it. So this is something I've had in my mind for years. I always thought about using like an electric linear actuator, but they're slow to like push on the pedal. So I actually came up with thinking about using an air cylinder. So I got me a little $20 air cylinder and got me a valve, and it's a two-way valve. So put air to it, pressure goes in, holds the ram back, and as soon as you give it, you know, power, it'll push the ram out. So now I'm going to make a clevis that goes around the pedal over here, and then I'm going to make a cup that goes like this on the back, and this will just sit against the front of the seat, and then you'll have the clevis that goes around the brake pedal, and that way you can just go underneath, press a button, have it push out, bleed your brakes, and do it all on your own. See how it works. All right, so I got the little clevis done and clamped onto the brake pedal. So that's what I came up with. It's just a little clevis to sit on the brake pedal, you know? Nothing real fancy. Air, regular solenoid, and I got this wired up to just an M12 battery. You know? Got a little jumper wire that goes down, it's all spalled up right here to a switch. Nothing special, right? Look at that. Pushes on the brake pedal, right against the front of the seat. Like I said, I have to do a little bit better cup thing right here, but I mean, down. Now down, up. Dude, never ever have to worry about having somebody else to bleed brakes again. You know, hey, did you hold it down? Hold, no, I didn't hold it down. None of that problem anymore. Straight up, look at that. You couldn't ask for nothing better than that. And right now, I just got a bungee cord hanging it right here. Like, it's just barely sitting here. And it just goes up to the steering wheel. It's hooked in the steering wheel right there. Freaking flawless. Freaking flawless, man. This thing works freaking amazing. Little button right here. Dude, you couldn't ask for nothing better than that. That's flawless. Yeah, baby. Like, flawless. That's awesome. Alrighty, guys, so with a bunch of figuring and stuff like that, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have to change this latch to one of these guys because it's a little bit more compact. And I'm not going to try and cut this whole thing apart. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build my own like little adapter right here. It'll be 2 inches thick. And I'll basically space these guys up about 2 inches and out 2 inches. And it'll just be an adapter that bolts to this. So this still has like a stock look to it, or this is still a stock piece, whatever you wanna call it. And that way I can get the tire out and then up far enough. So that's gonna be the piece for that. So, but latchy, we'll still have to build a latch. On another note, can't win for losing with this thing. The wrap showed up. And it is nowhere near the right color. Like, it might look like it on the camera, but like significantly darker. Like significantly darker, which, wow, through the camera you really can't tell. Oh, let's try that. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh, no. Yeah, it's darker. It doesn't match at all. So, gonna have to do something about this. I can't for the life of me find the right color. Like, it looks really close in here through the camera, but it's definitely not. So, I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. But we got to go get the boat right now and get it pulled out of storage, brought up here, and then probably just put a battery charge on it overnight before I even try and fire it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It might just be turn the key thing, might fire right up. So we will be going to get the boat right now. All right, guys, we're up here at another storage place that I get to use. And we are picking up the Jet Boat. It's been sitting here, heck, man, since October. I think it's been since October of 23. So it's like 7-8 months. And unfortunately, I forgot to put the battery tender on it, so battery's probably dead. But hey, we'll see what happens. Let's get this thing uncovered and get it hitched up and get it back to the house. Maybe it'll start. Alright, guys, as you can see, this thing's been sitting in here a really long time. It's dirty and dusty, even through the cover, stuff like that. But oddly enough, this I had built a motor for this thing like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. And it ran really good. And unfortunately, put some oil in it that didn't like the welding system. So it ran a little low on oil, or a little low on oil pressure. And I ended up camelbacking a bearing. So to continue with my season last year, I actually stole the big block out of my Blazer sitting right here. So figured I'll introduce you guys to the Blazer. Now it's a wreck right now, don't get me wrong. She got robbed. Actually breaks my heart to see it like this, but I guess introduced you guys to the Blazer. This is the ass end of it. So it's a 74 K5 that I did a full roll cage in, long travel, still straight axled. The heck? Oh yeah, hang on a second. I have to modify the fender there. Sorry, there's not enough light in here to see, but you know, twin sticked 205, and what used to be a big block, but no more. No more. We're gonna have to steal the motor out of the boat, steal it back again to put it back in here. This thing, I did some really funky like linkage and stuff like that on the steering, and long story short, the steering box is actually underneath the driver's seat, and the way I oriented the box, it's actually upside down. Well, to get the PSC RAM to work correctly and get the box to be correct, you have to bleed all the air out of it. Well, unfortunately, with the box being upside down, the ports are down. So I can never get all the air to bleed out of the system. And that was one of the last things I was fighting on this, because I still wanted this thing to have mechanical steering. If I can't get the system to work, it's going to go full hydro and just be done. But it's kind of hard to see in the dark. Had a mezzanine front suspension done on it with a radius style rod. And then I laid the rear shocks down years ago. I'll try and get you guys some pictures of this stuff. I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of dark back in the garage back here, but we'll get to this project eventually. Like, this was my pride and joy, kind of like the Samurai was. And then unfortunately I got pushed off to the side and move on to other projects and other things. But this thing's been in my family since I was 4 years old. So it's never leaving, and it's gonna get done, I promise. But right now, we're here to pick up the jet boat, get this thing loaded up. And you know what? Just for poos and giggles, dude, I'm gonna see if it'll start. You know, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, right? So let's kick on the key real quick and see if we hear anything and go from there. Let's just see if we hear anything. Again, mind you, this motor came out of my Blazer, so it doesn't look pretty at all. We've got a fuel pump. Heck, we got squirters. She should pop right off. No way. Oh, wow. That's friggin' awesome. Yes, I don't gotta work on it. Oh, really? You know, it's kind of weird. I have a button back here, and the button seems to work every single time. I don't know why. Check that out, man. Been sitting here for like 7 months. Been sitting here for like 7 months. Wow, that's cool. Let's see if she'll fire back up. You can't ask for anything better than that. Mint! Alrighty guys, we're out here getting the boat ready, and I still have to vacuum and do a bunch of stuff like that, but I had noticed that the forward reverse cable was starting to crack. It started cracking actually last year, and it didn't have a problem. It still doesn't have a problem right now, but I just noticed right now it's starting to rust. So I need to figure out something to do for that right there. I have no idea if it's gonna last the weekend. You can already see some of it's already cracking and breaking inside. The diverter cable seems to be doing the same thing, but not as bad. So unfortunately, I already came up with this idea and already figured out what I was gonna do. I found a an insert for a shock absorber for the bolt for the bushing. I don't know if you call that a bung or not, just the sleeve that goes in the rubber bushing. I'm gonna take this thing and I'm gonna encase this whole thing right here. I'm gonna fill this up with grease. I'm gonna tape it really good so it seals it a little bit better. I'm gonna put this guy all the way around it. I'm gonna crimp this whole thing together and then probably put some hose clamps around it or something like that, just to support this cable for the weekend. I'll buy new cables for it. This is a 78 boat, and I'm pretty sure those are probably the factory cables. So it's about time, whatever. But that's what I gotta get going right now. I know it's kind of ghetto, but big deal, it works. It'll get me through the weekend. Yeah, nothing special. Alrighty guys, today is the day. We are off, headed to the Colorado River, to the AV, I guess it's casino and resort, whatever you want to call it. We're headed there for our buddy's SoCal Jet Boat event, and we're gonna be on our way right now. It's about a 3.5 hour drive, give or take, 3 hour drive, and show you guys along the way when we get there. Alrighty guys, sorry about the wind. It's kind of breezy out here, but we just made it. We're here, we're filling up the boat, and we're gonna head out on the water today. Go hang out with the Friday crew. We just got here. Beautiful boats everywhere, man. Already seen a bunch of beautiful boats on the road and stuff. It's awesome. We'll see if a parking lot party pops off. But as it is right now, that's probably gonna be it for our night. I'll show you guys more tomorrow, and it'll be a good day. See you guys in the next video.